afternoon. Welcome to Wisconsin Weather Experts. I have my fantastic colleague, Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell here, and I'm here. We have a lot going on. You know, this month has been very crazy, I guess, very hectic across Wisconsin. And today is also a day that we are going to be talking about some hectic weather that happened many years ago.
Yeah, to say the least. 20 years ago, Hurricane Katrina devastated the Gulf Coast, with, of course, Mississippi taking a direct hit. Now communities there are reflecting on what's changed and what hasn't. Fox's Sarah Allegro reports from the Gulf right now. Gulfport, Mississippi right now.
Well, first, let's set the stage with what caused the immense damage here. The water in this area, it's very shallow. You got to travel a mile out to get at least waist deep. Now, 2 decades ago, those shallow waters caused some massive storm surge. And now the residents I talked to, the people born and raised here, they divide their lives into 2 main components: before Katrina and after.
Everybody had a loss.
What a difference 20 years can make. Blue skies, palm trees, and a new look. This is Gulfport, Mississippi today. But take it back 2 decades. This exact spot, unrecognizable. Leonard Papania, former police chief of Gulfport, knows these streets. He was a young lieutenant when Katrina tore through, and now our guide through the before and after.
The area I grew up in, I've lived here all my life. You didn't even know where you were.
And for him, it wasn't just his city that was devastated. The husband and father of 4 lost his own home too.
In moments like these, you don't build character, you demonstrate it.
Rupert Lacey was also on the front lines. He helped coordinate law enforcement and emergency management during the storm.
I didn't realize it was going to be on steroids.
But Katrina wasn't the first major hurricane he saw. Lacey was just a kid in 1969, but he and other longtime residents still remember Hurricane Camille. Its monster surge flattened entire communities.
You've got to understand the force of water. Buildings that survived Camille did not survive Katrina.
Today, emergency leaders point to better training and coordination. But with even stronger storms hitting, the question remains, are they ready for the next one?
We do plan for the potential failures of our systems. We've got paper backups. We've got alternate means of communicating.
And through it all, Papania is still here, walking these streets and hoping he never sees a repeat of 2005.
I always say I wouldn't trade the experience I had in Katrina, but I absolutely don't want to do it again.
And as we're in the midst of the current hurricane season, the folks here say time, preparation, interagency coordination, all lessons learned from Katrina help guide this coastline here today. In Gulfport, Mississippi, Sarah Allegro, Fox News.
Man, it feels like it was almost just yesterday or a few months ago.
Sure, yeah.
Time flies so quickly, and a lot of these hard-hit areas are still trying to recover to this day, and that's just showing you the full force and widespread impacts that these systems have.
Sure, and it's had impact not only in a physical way, but also in our collective memories and on the science of what we do every day. The science of meteorology was impacted, the forecasting has been impacted, and emergency response has been impacted. Learned a lot of lessons the hard way with the response to that disaster, and obviously things have been put in place to hopefully do better next time, and of course continually hope that there is no need to next time. Another look back now to Harvey.
And not only that hurricane causing impacts and still lingering to this day, but it was 8 years ago since Hurricane Harvey devastated Houston and Harris County, which is currently searching for prevention ways for future flooding. One idea is a table that's on the table is a massive underground tunnel system that can move floodwaters out of the Gulf. The multi-billion-dollar plan has been studied for years, but Elon Musk and Congressman Wesley Hunt are now publishing a cheaper alternative using Elon Musk's company. According to a report from the ProPublica, the Houston's Chronicle, and the Texas Tribune, their plan would create smaller, narrower tunnels, but experts warn that they may not carry enough water to solve Houston's flooding crisis. County leaders recently agreed to study a pilot project to see what they can come up with.
Again, continue to learn lessons and hopefully do better next time, hopefully avoiding a repeat of the situation there. All right, let's bring it back closer to home here. And this morning and this early afternoon, we do have an urgent warning from officials in Williams Bay. Don't use the tap water for drinking or for cooking. The village is under a no drink order until further notice. So the order comes after the Walworth County Health Department confirmed a case of what is known as blue baby syndrome. It's an illness often linked to contaminated drinking water. So after testing the village's water, the DNR ultimately discovered extremely unsafe nitrite levels. The village board authorized the release of $100,000 Wednesday to address the water emergency. Until the issue is fixed, volunteers will hand out cases of bottled water to residents at Williams Bay School.
School starting right around the corner. We want to try to give that safe peace of mind that we have safe drinking water for them.
So these officials are also warning to do not try to treat the water yourself. Don't boil it or freeze it. Adding chlorine, none of that will work. It will not make the water safe. It's unclear when the water will be back down to normal, and the cause of the issues has not yet been released. There will be a media briefing today that we may learn more, but I think it's worth noting on this show that floods can increase.
Where that water which could contain sewage and other harmful things will linger, and neighborhoods are still looking to navigate how to clean up the flooding that we dealt with here in southeast Wisconsin. We're getting an update from the city of Milwaukee this morning for recycling pickup that's back on. People can now place items outside of the cart and cardboard boxes only. Sunday is the last day to request pickup of flood damaged items and free access to the city's drop-off centers. So please plan accordingly this weekend. For more information, you can go to FOX6Now.com.
And this week on this show, we have been talking a lot about Arizona and the weather they have had there of late with dust storms and monsoonal storms as well. But the National Weather Service actually released their new drought monitor, which when you look at a picture like this, makes you wonder, right? Turns out the area is still indeed dry. They are expecting more rain, and we'll likely get more rainstorm news from our friends at Fox 10 this week as well. That may correct the drought situation, which goes to show downpours don't necessarily help with the drought monitor.
Right. They can actually harm it in a sense because, and a lot of people are asking that for us too, why isn't that heavy rain just soaking in? And a lot of times that just the dry dirt or the dry soil can't soak it up, so then it becomes a flooding problem.
Yeah, there you go. It's like if you take a bone dry sponge at the sink and turn the water on full blast and just run the sponge through it. It might get a little wet, but it's not going to get saturated.
Exactly.
Think about the same with the soil. It takes some time for it to soak in. You want that long soaking rain like your lawn sprinkler, and we didn't get that, and neither has Arizona of late. So that heavy rain obviously not helping there, not helping with the dog rescue either. So the storms there in Arizona have mainly been cleaned up as far as the damage goes, but it did include a local dog rescue as well. A place called Got Your Six Canine is located in that city, and they say strong winds on Monday's storm damaged the fence that keeps the dogs on their property. They also ripped off the air conditioner. They're using a swamp cooler, which is a different type of a cooler, but not usually as effective. So they're hoping their little fostered animals there can find some homes and maybe get those buildings repaired. So are hurting and impacting people and pets alike for sure. All right, back here at home, so much nicer for the long weekend, but of course, that's just our neck of the woods. Let's get to our regional outlook.
Yeah, let's take a look because some areas may not be as nice as what we are looking to have here in the Midwest. Taking a national view right now of where our systems and fronts are, we have high pressure near the UP, and that is going to help keep things calm over the next few days. Where we're not looking to keep things as calm is notice this low pressure here in the Dakotas, and that stationary front is sweeping all the way down to the Gulf Coast. It is this area, unfortunately, that is going to have the biggest impacts in terms of rain and flooding. We have been tracking areas south of Nashville into Texas and parts of Louisiana dealing with the continuation of rain, and all morning long they've had flash flood warnings as well as flood watches. The warning areas have seen at least 2 to 4 inches of rain with more coming down, so some areas likely could end up with exceeding 4 inches up to 5 or 6, and that's going to be a problem. We know what it's it's like here to have flash flooding cause devastating conditions, and that's exactly what they're looking to have again down south. So we're continuing to track that. Unfortunately, the heavy rainfall risk for the same area is under a slight risk for today. And watch what happens when we extend this out into the weekend. We have more areas across the Great Plains and the south under that risk for heavy rainfall on Saturday, and the same area, even though it's a lighter risk, still going to be impacted, but stretching to the east coast down to Florida for some potential flooding heading into Sunday. So yes, areas across the Great Plains and especially the south will have the worst impacts for the holiday weekend in terms of heavy rain leading to flooding, but also the heat looks to be a problem down south as well. South of that stationary front, that is where the temperatures will be scorchingly hot, still dealing with this impacts from portions of Orlando down to southern Texas and still into southwestern portions of Arizona. North of that is where we're looking to have some of the cooler temperatures sweeping across the Great Lakes region, Ohio River Valley, and heading towards the northeast. So here is the forecasted temperatures for today. Notice most areas south of that front, we're looking to have highs in the 90s, while triple digits likely in Phoenix. Further north in the Great Plains, where we still could have some isolated showers and storms, 70s, 80s likely. And then take a look by the Great Lakes. That's where we're looking to have some of the cooler temperatures today and even the upcoming days below average in the 60s and 70s. So here's the heat. It's staying to the south. We will have that cooler air circulating near the Great Lakes. The heat remains in the same spot from the Pacific Northwest towards the Gulf Coast heading into Sunday and still sitting there heading into Monday. Here locally, though, across Wisconsin, high temperatures today looking to range from the mid-60s to the mid-70s. And we should have temperatures in the upper 70s. So even though we're still hitting the 70-degree mark, these temperatures are more indicative of fall-like conditions rather than dealing with the upper 70s. We are going to continue to have temperatures, again, ranging in the 70s statewide heading into the weekend. Western portions of Wisconsin could be closer to normal in the upper 70s, maybe a few low 80s. Closer to the lake, we'll head into the mid-70s, but still looking to at least bring in some of the cooler temperatures by the evening hours in the 50s statewide. We'll start to see some of those warmer temps arrive by Monday. The Labor Day weekend forecast, yes, today is the only day that we might have a few showers. Otherwise, looking to really bring back the sunshine and warmer temperatures from Sunday into Monday. And we're going to talk about that precipitation because today looks to be the only day that we could have precip in the forecast. We've been tracking an area of some showers from Eau Claire heading through Stevens Point as well as Wisconsin Dells this morning. That may make its way into southern portions of Wisconsin by this afternoon and tonight. Again, looking to move out of here by Saturday morning, but because of some of that rain and cooler temperatures arriving under clear skies, we might have some patchy fog statewide as we head into Saturday morning. So if you're traveling tomorrow morning, just keep in mind you might need some extra time whether you're heading north or south. We're going to continue, though, to bring a beautiful forecast across the state of Wisconsin heading into Saturday as well as Sunday. Saturday, plentiful amount of sunshine with us. We'll continue to have clear conditions Saturday night. More sunshine, an ample amount of it returns by Sunday statewide, so no issues if you're traveling north or south. And we hang on to that same forecast across Wisconsin from Sunday heading into Monday. So we are really lucking out, only having a few showers possible today, looking to have nothing but dry conditions for the days ahead. Speaking of the days ahead, though, our temperatures will get back close to normal as we head into Labor Day on Monday and into Tuesday. But take a look what happens after that. Wednesday, we drop into the 60s. We're going to go back about 5 to 10 degrees below average for this time of year. The reason why? Well, we're going to have a cold front sweeping through the state. That's going to bring us our next chance of showers and thunderstorms. And as we're even heading into a new month, take a look at Wisconsin as well as the Midwest, September 3rd through 7th. Entering the first week of a new month, we are very favored to have below average temperatures. So again, feeling more like fall as we are heading into the first week of September. Rob?
All right, thanks, Lisa. We have a lot more Wisconsin weather experts to come. Stick with us right here on Fox Local and the Fox 6 YouTube channel.
Welcome back to Wisconsin Weather Experts. We've been talking a lot about the hurricanes, which areas are still recovering from 20 years ago. We're going to switch courses here with the damage of fires.
Yeah, we're back talking about wildfires. Lately it's been California. The Napa Valley Winery has now confirmed that it is actually cooperating in an investigation of the picket fire near Calistoga. So Cal Fire says the wildfire started near the vineyards of 100 Acres Wines, and investigators are trying to determine what role, if any, that winery played in starting the fire. Cal Fire says the size of the fire is holding steady at around 6,800 acres, which is a massive area, of course. Containment has actually grown to 37%.
And in California, there's a new fallout from the Palisades fires. Los Angeles is banning tour buses from venturing off into the areas that were impacted by them. The city council says its ban on disaster tours is effective immediately. These are bus tours that travel to fire-impacted routes of the Pacific Palisades council members. They say that the reason for the ban is to preserve public safety in an area with a declared emergency.
This is like my home's where I grew up. I kind of feel like it's kind of very insensitive that they're just coming in and smiling, taking photos.
The idea of entertaining at people's tragedies and loss, that to me just is does not seem very nice.
I still can't believe they're doing this, but the Palisades fire did unfortunately kill 12 people. It destroyed more than 6,000 structures and displaced more than 10,000 people from their homes.
Wow, an unbelievable situation. Now, on a more positive note, this is from Mission Control, our sister station, Fox 35, tracking space weather and doing it to save trillions. That's what NASA's doing in their next big launch. 3 satellites are heading towards the sun to keep an eye on solar storms that can, of course, cause issues here at home. Fox 35's Esther Bauer saw the satellites before they became spacebound.
Scientists are putting the final touches on these 3 satellites in clean rooms at Astrotech in Titusville.
I'm jazzed. We're excited.
Excitement is growing and the countdown is on to start the space weather mission that will take place in the exact middle point between the Earth and the sun. They're staying there to keep close tabs on the sun and track its extreme weather systems.
This could be the first $1 trillion weather disaster. If you get a catastrophic space weather event, that could be the world's first.
Solar storms can shut down power grids, ground airplanes, and disrupt GPS systems across the world. So NASA and NOAA want to stay on top of the sun, monitoring its wind speed, density, and temperature.
Investment return is that the power grid doesn't collapse, that flights across the oceans can proceed as planned, that people know when their GPS systems aren't going to work properly.
Another satellite on the mission is called Carruthers. It's built to study Earth's exosphere, which is a barrier we don't know much about.
What is the shape? What does this even look like?
Scientists want to answer those questions because the exosphere plays a role slowing down space weather before it gets to us.
When you see the clouds forming, but then it suddenly just dissipates, that's what our exosphere can do to these solar storms that come in. And so we want to understand better how that happens so that we know if a storm is something that's going to be a threat or we should prepare for it.
The satellite behind me is a particle collector, which means it wants to collect what's around it. But that also means we're dressed like this for a reason, so no contaminants from Earth get on the satellite before it goes to space.
We want this thing to work.
Work in the clean rooms is almost complete. The satellites will fly to space on a Falcon 9 and liftoff is set for no earlier than September 23rd. Reporting in Titusville, Esther Bauer, Fox 35 News.
What a great assignment there, and thanks to all of those incredible people at IMAP, NOAA, and NASA for letting our sister station in to have a look. You saw how incredibly covered she had to be. You're right, one tiny particle in the wrong spot could cause disaster for a multi-billion-dollar project. All right, we're not a multi-billion-dollar project, but we spent a couple pennies trying to look good, so we'll do that for you in just a couple of minutes. Stick around. All right, welcome back to Wisconsin Weather Experts. Just about to wrap it up for the day and for the week. But hey, if you ever have any questions, what can they do?
Yeah, well, we're going to have an awesome way for you to contact us. You see that little QR code right there, that square at the bottom of your screen? Super easy. Just pull out your phone, point your camera at it, tap on it, and you can click on the link and submit any question you have. It can be weather-related, science-related. You know, you could ask Rob what he had for breakfast. It might vary day to day, but we are here to answer any questions that you have and hopefully be able to answer it on our show and feature your question.
We do answer all the questions that we get if they're not necessarily show-worthy, if you will. If they don't make for great television, we'll still respond and let you know, whatever we can let you know or point you in the right direction to get a different answer. All right, brace yourselves from some nice nostalgia. Roll it.
Weather started getting rough, the tiny ship was tossed. If not for the courage of the fearless crew, the minnow would be lost. The minnow would be lost.
All right, now you'll be singing that all day. And there is a reason, of course, a nasty storm put the minnow on that island with Gilligan and Skipper. We all remember the classic TV sitcom about the SS Minnow. Yes, of course, as I said, tossed around in that storm, leaving those 7 stranded castaways on a remote island. Well, now that story of Gilligan and everyone else is going to play out on stage as a musical parody. I think they're going to get a lot of millennials and Gen Xers lining up to get tickets to this thing.
It's catchy.
Yeah, well, it's catchy. It's also, part of the zeitgeist, right? I mean, so many of us came home from school back before there was social media and 800 channels on the TV. And this is what you watched and you loved it. And it was the 3 years of programs. That was it. There was only 3 years worth of episodes. First season was in black and white. And you watched every episode like 85 times, and it didn't matter.
And the musical will not be 3 years, but I guarantee you that it's going to be fantastic. I want it right here in Milwaukee, too, so we can see it.
I think if they put a road show together, I think they could definitely pack the Paps with a bunch of Gilligan fans and Skipper fans. But obviously, I just got a kick out of the weather connection there for this show. And we appreciate you supporting this show. I'm happy to brag a little bit on this show. We have been one of the most watched shows on Fox Local regularly since our debut, including this past week here. We appreciate you for making us a success, and we appreciate the fact that you are interested in what we do and digging a little deeper.
Yeah, and I'm excited. I'll be sharing a lot of stories from my Alaska trip that I just came back from, the science of it, and local ties to right here in Milwaukee, so stay tuned next week.
Most of the QR code questions in the last week were, where's Lisa? I'm like, well, that's for Lisa to explain, and she is. So stick around to get those answers too next week, and we appreciate you. See you next week. Have a great long weekend.